I went through a season where I lost my dad, I lost my grandparent, my wife got into a car accident, and my son was born premature. That was all within 2 years, just like back to back to back to back to back to back to back. It was crazy because that was my first time where I felt like my faith was actually tested.
What's going on, my friend? It's your boy, Scooda. This is your station boost, and we are going behind the beats with somebody I like to call a bro, a friend, a homie, but one of the GOATs when it comes to this Christian hip-hop game. I'd like to welcome none other than the bro, Derek Minor. What's happening, bro?
What's happening? What's happening, brother? Yes, we are definitely family. Boost my family, Scooda my family. I love and support y'all. Love your freestyles, man. You always be going crazy in there in the booth.
Appreciate it. Hey, I'm trying to push myself to the limit.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to push myself. You see how I put that in there? If I never give up, I'm gonna win it. You know what I mean? Hey, tell us about this track right here, man. Like, take me behind the scenes because I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna tell you something that I've never told you, bro. Like that's one of my joints right there. When I'm trying to get back healthy and exercising and stuff, and so that's one of them ones I keep on repeat. Like I gotta push, I gotta go. So take me to the inspiration behind this cut.
You know, it's a real interesting story about that. So I have a friend who lives overseas. We've done a couple projects together. And just randomly out the blue, he sent me this pack of beats, and it was just sitting in my inbox. I was going through a season musically where I felt, you know, if you are paying any attention to what music artists are dealing with, streaming numbers are declining. People are trying to figure out how to get back on the road and tour, but it's really, really tough. You know, if gas is expensive for a car, imagine what it is for a tour bus. You know what I mean? And then also just being transparent. I've been doing this for a long time. And there's been times where you just like, all right, is it even still worth it? And man, I was going through just going through my email, and I was like, oh, I missed this email. You know how you have the unread joint? I'm like, oh, I missed this joint. So I press play, and just literally I'm sitting there, and all that's going through my head, I'm like, nah, man, I gotta push to the limit. Because, you know, when you think about it, it's people literally that's listening to this radio station right now. I could complain about being a music artist, but what about the person that is a police officer? What about the person that's in the military? What about the person that's EMS? You know, they're dealing with real world, real life consequences. There's jobs that are going to be replaced that look like they might be replaced by AI. People being laid off left and right. Housing is hard. We got pandemonium in the streets, and I was like, nah, we got to stay in the game. That's what's most important is to keep people in the game. So that's what was the motivation behind that record. Is I wanted to make something that would give people that boost, quote unquote, so that they know that they can conquer anything they put their mind to. They got to push to the limit to give you that extra step. So yeah.
I love it. And you know, one thing that I love about you as an artist, you don't shy away from those hard conversations. You know, sometimes church may move away or they'll kind of talk about something without talking about it. And one thing I love about you is you'll go dive in and you'll talk about it and you'll put it in a song and you won't be no confusion about what it's directed to. Why do you think that's important when you're making music, especially, you know, pushing to the limit? Like, why do you think that's important for you as an artist to do that?
Me personally, music has always been expression. I started making music when I was a kid, and it was a form to help me with depression and anxiety before those were buzzwords.
Yeah.
So I always was honest in my music before anyone listened to it. So as I began to, I guess that kind of just was a muscle that I developed. And now as people listen to my music, it's just like you're listening to my diary or, you know, what I used to write to myself.
Man, that's what's up. And I love it, man, because like I said, it could get a little, you know, the church sometimes will try to sugarcoat, right? And I don't think you sugarcoat. And that's needed because it's like, man, if the world is hitting this thing head on, why can't we as believers hit it head on, but give a godly perspective of what's happening in the world? And so when I think about this song, push it to the limit, I want to ask you, bro, like, what point in your life where you had to be like pushed to the limit? I know you talked briefly a little bit about, in a period in your life when you had to really kind of just push, but like something like near and dear to you where you just like, man, I know this was God and God got me through this because I was done with it. I was like, my hands was up. I was done with it. Take me to that point.
I mean, where do I start? I went through a season where I lost my dad, I lost my grandparent, my wife got into a car accident, and my son was born premature. That was all within 2 years.
Wow.
Like, it was like a 2-year span of just back to back to back to back to back to back to back. And it was crazy because that was the f that was my first time where I felt like my faith was actually tested. Like, are you gonna believe this or you not gonna believe this? Are you gonna believe that God is there for you or not? And man, on the other side of that, in a place where I feel like there's a lot more stability for me, I'm a living witness and testimony that God can bring you through anything. If you put your trust in Him and have faith and be patient and stay positive, that's really the key. The key is to stay positive, and I think sometimes people will try to name it, claim it, grab it, blab it. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that there's no good that comes out of constantly being negative and believing that the worst things in the world are always going to happen to you. Nothing good is going
Facts.
to come out of that. It's always better to believe that, hey, what the scriptures say, that all things work together for the good of those that are in Christ Jesus. So
Hmm.
it's always better to take that perspective rather than the nothing ever will work out for me and this is the
Right.
end perspective. It's not to say that it'll always be the end because you believe that, but you'll suffer while you're with that perspective, you'll suffer a lot. Mentally so.
Facts, facts. One of my favorite parts of the song, and I think it's the cadence of just how you say it. And I don't know, I just felt like, you know, how it's the fourth quarter, like 3 seconds, 2, 1, and but you get that shot off and it hit, and it's like, you know what I
Mhm,
mean?
mhm,
There was this
mhm.
part in the song you said, and it was the way you said, I got blood of champion all in my veins.
Yeah.
Why you had to why did you switch it up that way? And because I felt like energy. Like, I don't know, I felt energy throughout the whole song. But that part right there stood out to me a whole lot.
Well, a lot of people don't know I never write my lyrics down. So what that does is it allows me to have a lot more creative cadences. And because I my lyrics are always poetic or I'm always conscious about the lyrics, it just gives a great blend. So that actually was just all intuition. It was all
Really?
me. Yeah, yeah. I don't like I said, I don't write anything down. I literally press record and I just keep going until I get something I like.
Now,
Yeah.
did you used to write it and then kind of just been like, I don't want to, or was it always a thing where you just like, nah, I'm just gonna go with how I feel in that moment when you're listening to the beat?
It's actually more practical than that. It was as being a record label owner, I own Reflection Music Group and RMG Amplify. We got artists like Tori Deshawn, Mission, Paris Careers, and different artists like that. So as I was building the label and as, I got older, being a father, going to games, I take my kids to school every day. I spend when they get out of school, I try to put work down and spend time with them. And I just got to the point where the recording process had to be quicker if I was going to keep recording. It just had to be quicker. So I really don't have a lot of time to spend. So sometimes, I mean, I'll try to get a song done in 45 minutes, not
Mm,
necessarily because I want to get it done fast, but it's like that's literally all I have. And with the pace of where music is right now, you gotta stay on top of it. So in the past where I would labor over every lyric, I realized some of that was just self-confidence. I wasn't confident enough to
wow.
be like, "I said what I said. This is what I mean. Here's
Yeah.
the lyric." Right? I would be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what are people gonna think if it sounded like this?" And you spend an hour trying to reshape that. Now it's just like, look, I'm at the place where it's like, look, I said what I said. If you don't like it, you just don't like it, bro. Like it is what it is.
And that's fire to have that confidence though. And I didn't know that, and I think that's really I think that's a good I should say tip for artists, newer
Mm.
artists, and artists that are just kind of waiting and waiting. I don't. Just go. I said it. Hey, it is what it's there now. Let's move on, right? And so I love that you said that because that's like free game. In a way, you just gave some free game to some artists that may be listening
Love,
right now.
love.
I
Man,
think that's dope.
it's your story, and it's not your job. It's my job to communicate the story as best as possible. It's not my job to try to prevent the person's emotional response to my story. Or I can't. Like my story is my story, and you don't like it. That don't have anything to do with me. It's you that don't like it. So
Man,
yeah.
I love how you speak from your heart. I love how you know, are a good father and family man. I see it a lot. And, you know, the times that we've got a chance to kind of just meet in person and how you just big up your children, right? And that's a big thing for you. Here's the thing. I want to ask you something. I want to kind of move into a personal space.
Yeah.
If there's somebody that's listening right now that's like, man, I want to be an artist, but I got a family. I don't really know what I should do. Should I just stick with family? I don't really know how I can hear from God. Based on how you've been and what you've experienced through God and in the position that you're in, what would you say to that person that's listening? It's like, man, bro, I want to do this. I want to do that, but should I do this? Should I do that? And just keep going and having second thoughts. What would you say to that person?
Well, there's art, and then there's the business of art. So you don't have to have a lot of money to be an artist. You just have to be creative. You just have to care. You just have to speak your heart into your music and find a team of people that rock with you and that you rock with and create cool products. Now the business of art is different. So if the question is, do I want to live off of my music? I would say I think there's benefits to living off your music, and there's also benefits to saying I have a different job and I make money a different way. So now the music can be as pure as I want it to be. Sometimes I think with artists, you'll see. Have you ever seen an artist that their first album does really, really well, and then maybe the second and third album it kind of feels stale? A lot of times it's because they're trying to recreate what got them there. Where when you think about what got some of these artists on their first album where they were at, they were struggling, they were working, they had jobs, and they
Yeah.
and they were putting all their effort into the music in the most purest form. But then when you start living off of it, you're like, man, I got to try to maintain this lifestyle. So let me try to do a bunch of things that work. Let me bring a bunch of producers in that's supposed to be super producers instead of
Yeah.
work with the homies that I work with on the first album. Like now I got to do things the correct way. And I've seen people try to do things the correct way and mess up their whole career. Like the only correct way is the way that is the most honest and true and fun to you. That's the correct
Yeah.
way.
And that's how I've seen you do, bro. And it's just an honor to be able to see you grow and see you push to the limit. Like
Yeah.
real talk. Like I'm seeing
Thank
what you're putting out and it is quality, it's amazing, and it's relatable. Like everything you're doing is relatable. Bro, you got anything coming up? You got something popping out this year soon?
Man.
What you got in the kitchen?
So we got two things. Right now, my number one priority is I have a podcast with Paris Careers called You Can't Say That in Church.
Mm,
It's on YouTube. We talk about everything from Drewski clowning the church to the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime. So
yeah.
we talk about it's a weekly pod. We just talk about everything that comes out in the week. And then what I've been doing for my core fan base, if you go to derekminer.com, you can join my community called Live Major. I have a free mixtape on there that will not go on streaming. It will not go on streaming. You can only get it at derekminer.com. You can get it for free. And for the people that are true Derek Miner supporters, we got Live Major Plus, which for $10 a month, you get unreleased music, access to all my new music, and a 15% discount on the whole stores.
Yay.
You know what I'm saying? 15% discount on all the merch. And
Fire.
man, I just dropped, matter of fact, I literally just dropped a new song in there last week. So I dropped
Okay.
two. I got two new songs that
Okay.
are not on streaming yet.
But man,
Yeah.
look, I appreciate you for stopping by, for sharing time with Boost Nation, man. It means so much to us. I'm praying that God continues to open up doors, continues to allow your gift to make room for you and place you before great men, bro. You already bright. I'm just excited to see the brighter and the brightest and the brightest coming forward for you and your entire family, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you, my boy. I appreciate you, homie.
Yes, sir. It's your boy Scooda. This is your station Boost. Listen, I love you, but God loves you so much more. Reason I can say I love you is because I love God and I love every single thing that He created. And guess what, friend? That includes you. Be blessed, be safe, and we'll see you next time on Behind the Beats.